Alright lads, watched the fight last night. Was obviously out, so I didn't do a post-fight. This isn't necessarily going to be a post-fight review of the fight. I'm just going to be giving my 2 cents on some information that's come out in the last hour or so with regards to Daniel Dubois and the injury he suffered last night in his fight. So, it's being reported that Daniel Dubois has now suffered a fractured orbital socket and nerve damage following his defeat to Joe Joyce last night. It's said that he will need to see a specialist to decide whether or not he needs surgery for said injury. Now, obviously I watched this fight last night with some friends. I was over one of my friends' houses, and you know, I'll go do a live stream this evening, right? So about 7 or 8, I'll do a live stream. I'll talk more about it then. But for my money, Joe Joyce was bossing this fight. It was close, but Joe Joyce was the man in there. That's the best way to describe it. He was the man. Dubois was maybe not mentally ready for this kind of fight, for this kind of opponent, and it showed. Dubois' eye got bashed up by Joe Joyce's jab. He suffered, very bad. Like, that's one thing I noticed early in the fight, was like, whoa, that swelling is bad. That swelling is bad. By the 10th round, the eye was shut completely, and then Dubois quit. Now, I've always been very kind on fighters who quit, because at the end of the day, I'm not the one in there taking the shots. I'm not the one who's in there, with an eye that's, closed. So Dubois, in that 10th round, when he got hit with that jab, the pain must have been horrible, and he had enough. The boy quit. But that is what that is. At the end of the day, fractured orbital socket, possibly nerve damage as well. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to go in on him, because at the end of the day, I wasn't in that position. It looked painful, the eye, and I can imagine getting hit, and it was extremely painful. So I'm not going to go in hard on him for quitting. At the end of the day, fighters have quit in the past. Plenty of them have quit in the past. Plenty of good fighters have quit in the past. It happens. It's a tough sport, and at the end of the day, it's not. If he kept on going, he could have risked further damage. It's not worth risking your eyesight for a fight like that when you can live to fight another day. In my opinion, it's not worth it. So Dubois, look, I hope it's not too serious. When you hear like stuff like that, like fractured orbital socket and stuff like that, you do kind of worry, because you always hear fighters like who maybe were up and coming or someone like that who suffered eye damage and they could never fight again. Like I remember Billy Collins. It's a bit of an extreme case with him, but he suffered damage to his eye in his fight against Risto. I think his name was Louis Risto. And he could never fight again because of the damage to his eyes. So you always worry about that. When you hear that, you kind of worry a bit. But that's the kind of report on Dubois now. Like I said, I want to just keep the video short. I don't want the video to drag on too long. I'm not going to do a full-blown, in-depth, breakdown of the fight. I watched it. I'll talk about that, as I said, more in the live stream this evening, which I'll definitely be doing about 7 or 8 this evening. Let's talk about boxing, as we always do on a Sunday. But with regards to Dubois quitting, I ain't going to hold it against him. But he's young enough. He's lucky in the sense that he's young enough that he has plenty of time to reassess things, take a bit of a break, see what's right, see what he needs to fix, and then regroup and start again. As for Joe Joyce, he's called out Usyk. He got bashed by Usyk in the World Series of Boxing. For him to be calling him out now, man, Joe Joyce doesn't fear him. Joe Joyce has improved since then, although so was Usyk. But Joe Joyce, look at how it's funny, right? Because actually, when I was watching this fight with the lads last night, none of them have seen Joe Joyce fight before, and they were saying, like, after 2 rounds, this guy in the white trunks, this guy is terrible. Look, I was like, no, that's how he fights. I was like, he might look ungainly, he might look novice. That's how he fights. I said, watch him. That's how he fights. And by the end of the fight, they just couldn't believe. They were like, how can he look so bad? But I was like, I don't know how he can, but he can. That was the way I was kind of explaining it to my friends last night. I was like, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. I don't know how he does it. So, credit to Joe Joyce. I'm going to leave it here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Dubois was right, given the fact that it's clear there was damage there, fractured orbital socket, nerve damage, etc. You think Dubois was right to quit, live the fight another day? What do you think you should do from here? Frank Warren. Oh man, poor fish eyes. He looked, he wasn't happy after that fight. He was not a happy boy. He was not a happy camper. Let's leave it at that. Lads, I'm going to leave it here. Smash the like button. I'll talk to you all this evening about 7 or 8, one or the other. And let me know your thoughts down below. As always, #GMansRocks, King of Rip Jeans, all that good stuff. I'll talk to you, lads. Peace.